Bueno, empecemos. Sigamos con la parte de hoy, la que nos compete. Lo que nos compete, vamos directo al grano, al corazón de la manzana, donde duerme el gusano, sí, señor. Habíamos quedado ayer en Whitechapel, si no estoy mal. Que estamos como tratando de explorar el pedazo. Perdimos una pista. Y pues andamos aplicándole al doctor por ahí. Sí, señor, Whitechapel. Por acá hay un callejón, según esto. Ah, ya me acordé. Por acá uno llegaba ahí, prin, y había algo para acá para subir, y había algo, ¿no? Pero creo que ya lo había reclamado ese señor. Que aquí al fondo nos encontramos a Alberto. Ya habíamos hablado con esta sosita, con la chinita esta que
It's locked.
It's locked. Supone que aquí estaba Albert y el papá de Albert, que está loquito. Supone que ya hablamos con ese par de tipos. Sí, y que ya estábamos curando a los dos. Creo que alcanza a ir por acá. No recuerdo bien. Ok, por acá. Creo que acá no puedo entrar. Creo que no me dejó. Efectivamente está cerrado. Bueno, acá ya empezamos a encontrar people. ¿Quién está?
Even the flu is no match for the...
Buenas noches.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
A ver qué trae. Bueno, vende por lo menos cosas de... O sea, puede servirme porque vende cosas de... para fabricar medicamentos. Entonces, pues, puede servir. ¿Esto cerró? ¿Esto no? No, pero ya sí.
Nobody at home.
Si doy toda la vuelta para acá. Pero supongo que no me dejará entrar a lo último. Ok. ¡Uy!
This is no place for you, sir. You're mine, vermin!
¿Cómo? Fallé. Te lo chupo, papá. Chupi chupi. ¿Y este qué es? ¿Pose qué? ¿Otro murió? Así. No aguanto la mordida de placer que le metí de tipo. A ring. Ring. Keep out. Efectivamente, no podemos pasar. Estaba viendo dos. Cuarentena y cuarentena. Por acá no puedo pasar todavía. Evita el contagio. La influenza. La influenza. ¿Qué puede subir? Las cagas como están distribuidas las calles. Bueno, pero así será en Londres de verdad. Me pregunto yo, o sea, sí distribuido con las callecitas, porque acá siempre he visto, o sea, lo retratan así, pero como no conozco, pues no. Joda. Lo que pasa, hombre, Cucu, ¿cuál es tu gritería? Curioso. Te chupo. Los machetazos, para atrás, golpecito. Garra, golpecito. Ah, bueno, Chupi Chupi no alcanzó. Hay otro tipo gritando. Pero son nivel 8, tampoco es que sean tan... de tanto... Es que no... O sea, me sorprende este juego que digamos, las etapas que tiene. Porque hay fases donde tiene enemigos, no sé, nivel 16, 19 y un momento a otro, pum, nivel 4, nivel 8, entonces no tiene mucho sentido. Va, estos son niveles 8. Entonces aquí a este le pego su chupi chupi. Le meto su barrazo y para atrás. Una de chupi chupi también, mi papacho. La chupi chupi. Pin, pin, pin. Tenga. Joda, ¿qué es esa mierda? Bestia grande, ¿eso es un león o qué? ¿Qué es esa munda, loco? Pucha. Joder. ¿Un hacha? Hachuela usada, 65 de daño. Esta tiene 104. Pero esta se puede mejorar. 105, 145. ¿Y cuánto 25 de resistencia ocupa? ¿Y esta? 20, pues... va a tocar probarla. ¡Joda, otra! ¿Sí podré con esto? ¿Qué es esa madre, loco? Pues vamos. Que tenga miedo a morir, que no nada. ¡Joda! ¿Te lo puedo chupar? Sí, señor. Joda, pero... joder. Uf, marica, me eso. Una brisita, eres. Pero para más como un hombre lobo que un vampiro. Y se supone que en las... que creen que en la mayoría de cosas Ese tipo tiene un lanzallamas, loco. Ese tipo tiene un lanzallamas, weón. ¿Ahí qué? Ay, marica. Que ya había estado. Ah, sí, pues me metí por acá, ¿no? Joder. Joda, ¿qué hay algo?
Not exactly a treasure chest.
Una cama estrecha, unas baratijas. Barret, no hay una manera fácil de decirlo, así que seré directo. No podemos seguir así, al menos yo no puedo. Si Joe se llega a enterar de lo que estamos haciendo, su esposa y su mejor amigo lo destruirá. Y luego lo matará. Pasamos buenos momentos, pero debemos asumir la realidad. Jamás seré su Jane Louise. Usted lo sabe y yo también. Entonces le pondré punto final a esto. Aquí ahora, si acepta mi decisión, estoy segura de que con el tiempo Joe, usted y yo encontraremos una manera de ser felices. Nuevamente, además... habremos preservado la parte más importante de nuestra historia hasta ese día. Espero que logre perdonarme. Adiós, Jane Peterson.
A love letter from Joe Peterson's wife addressed to Barrett Lewis.
¿Y quién es Joe Peterson? Barrett Lewis.
Who should I give it to, I wonder?
¿Será que puedo contra ese tipo? Es que es nivel 12, loco.
No civilians allowed, sir.
Yo había mejorado el revólver, ¿no? Sí.
Stop now! Burn it, boys! You leeches, you
Joda, ¿qué es eso?
He's dead! Want some of them?
Joda.
You're mine!
Marica, ¿qué es ese polvo? Joda. Por recuperar, pero necesito sangre, loco.
Die, beast! It's on him! It's on him! Hide for those die, beast! You leeches be killing!
¡Pégale! Joda. Lo que me quitó eso, weón. ¿Qué fue esa miércoles? Será una escala, ¿no? Sí. Ok, acá hay gente.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Este grosero.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
I think the documents in this box could be of some interest to you.
Really? Where'd you get it?
I found it in an abandoned building nearby. I thought you might want to keep these letters.
Let me see. Letters about my boy. Thank you, sir.
You do not appear surprised or pained by this.
Surprised about what? Harry's my son, I'm his father, and that's all there is to know, don't you think?
Yes, I suppose you're right.
Here's a little something for your trouble. And to remind you to keep your mouth shut about all this.
¿Ese tipo está enfermo o algo? No, está saludable.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
¿Qué otro hay acá? Este tipo, ¿no? Este tipo.
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then?
LOL, lo convenció.
Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way. Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
Fatiga. Yo me pregunto es por qué
Do you need any medical help? young
está
man?
buscando a
Yes, I do.
Dorothy y no está en el hospital.
I feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
You'll feel better with this. But you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this.
Todos están deprimidos en este mundo.
But I thank you for your concern, sir.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough, like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which,
Le
what can you tell
faltan
me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things.
anticuerpos.
That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
You have a roof over your head, a place to call home. Many people here are not as lucky, you know.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
Joda, qué mimado este hijo de puta.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Háblamelo. Por ahí me estuvieron contando que este tipo ya no volverá a Río Paila Castilla entonces.
Do you remember when Barrett Lewis was close to your family? To your mother?
Not really. I was too young. But I remember it was a happier time. Mr. Lewis was funny. He often had dinner with us.
Pero mira, no sé por qué está tomando ese título y no está tomando el otro. Tendría que tomar el otro, weón. No sé si ahí se actualizó, pero le había puesto otro, el arte de chupar sin piedad, algo así.
Why are you sad then?
Because it hurts to remember a time when my father used to laugh and smile.
¿Venedos?
It hurts to realize he's as sad as me now.
How was he towards you?
He was nice, I guess. He never forgot my birthday. He always offered me books. I liked books.
Pues mano, ahí lo felicito, weón.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Ya por fin ya dejó de estar
Even my
ahí
dreams are soaked
yendo de un
with
lado a
glue.
otro, weón. ¿Es una caja fuerte? Robo en su cara. ¿Qué tienen por acá para robar?
Is there only pain and suffering in
Por lo
this
menos
world?
ahorita que dentro de 8 días a mí me operan. El jueves voy a estar operado. Y precisamente pues, entonces ya les toca buscar uno por demanda, loco. Para que vaya a ser el reemplazo. Algo es algo, pero es nada, amigo.
It's locked, all right.
Cerrado. 5 chelines. Por acá estaba el otro, ¿no? Yo había visto un tipo por acá. Cazadores de vampiros profesionales. Si alguna vez sospechan que alguien es un vampiro, no intente matarlo por su cuenta. No tendrá ninguna posibilidad de hacerlo. Lo que deben hacer es comunicarse conmigo o tratar de informárselo a un asesino de vampiros profesional. Estos hombres y mujeres no abundan, pero saben qué hacer contra estas criaturas malignas. Incluso parece que algunos de ellos trabajan juntos bajo el nombre de la Guardia de Priwen, una organización paramilitar dedicada a la erradicación de vampiros en Londres. Ellos son sus amigos, no están solos. Hay soluciones, sean inteligentes, hagan correr la voz. Clarence Crossley. Para obtener información, contactar con él directamente. Yo por acá he visto un tipo en la ventana, loco. O era este man
It's locked, all right.
que bajó de una, nomás toqué la puerta. O sea, si los soportes son en Cali, volteo yo, si no. Ah, pero no. Pues ahí, según lo que había
It's
entendido,
locked,
era que iba a
alright.
estar en un contrato fijo en Coexito, creo. Pero vení yo como esta vuelta. Ta, 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 ta. Ya. Ah, bueno, por eso. Pero es que ya están en un solo contrato, loco, es lo que me refiero. Ya no tienen que andar volteando por ahí.
Is there only pain and
¿Por qué?
suffering in this world?
I prefer not to give you
¿Y
another
este parque? Barrelo y yo, ¿de esos dos tengo ya? ¿Ya hablé con ellos? No me acuerdo. Este es el papá.
You again?
Cheap price.
What do you want
Ah,
this
es el
time?
papá.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
LOL.
Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else, whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested,
Todo bien.
are you not afraid of
Para
what
que
would
me
happen
cuente.
to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Entonces, Joe Peterson y este otro, ¿quién es?
Come on. Welcome, sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes, she's a nurse, and quite a good one. What did she do to gain such notoriety?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Este tipo no entiende.
How is business around?
¿Qué anda este weón?
Business? I had no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Ok. O sea,
As
que es
a
como un matón.
merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean, besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Ah, por eso estaba
You had an
peleando.
affair with Joe's wife, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. She's the only woman I loved. My first regret is that she stayed with Joe after Harry was born. The second is I never shed a tear when she died.
Did you ever try talking to Joe?
Never. But I suspected he knew everything, even without knowing it. And he decided to make me pay in his own way.
Do you mean you're Harry's father?
No one will ever know for sure. And it's better that way.
Joda.
And I don't believe I'd have been all that bad as a dad.
Joda. Ay.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Te las voy a comprar porque yo creo que las van a necesitar. Estas también. Son ellos, eso casi no. Joda. Joe. ¿Dónde estás, Joe? Te tengo la última, Joe. Ese hijo no es tuyo.
You again? What do you want this time?
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their
Atrapa las
muscle
botas
for
también.
their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons. And that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Joda.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Eran amigos, le comió a la mujer. De pronto el hijo que está criando no ni
Fancy
siquiera es de
buying
él.
something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
It's never easy to find a new path in life, especially after the loss of a loved one. But crime is certainly not the best option.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against a wet boot boy.
Todos odian a las botas, weón.
What do you know of Harry Peterson? The boy seems so fragile. Not like his father at all.
Harry's a good boy, but he spends most of his time complaining. He's had it tough, all right, but he needs to grow a pair.
What troubles him exactly?
Well, despite being his father's son, almost everything, I think. He never wanted to come to Whitechapel in the first place. Hates this place more than most of us.
Joda.
Goodbye for now.
Gracias. Voy a hablar con Harry, socio. Muchas thank yous. Harry.
Good evening, Harry. May I come in?
Sure. Sure.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Joda. Perdonado, me faltan 2 pistas.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Gracias, Harry.
Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
Entonces queda mucho de pelado. Migraña. Y este tipo que está enfermo. Resfrío. ¿Sí tengo? No, no tengo. Necesito conseguir uno para la migraña. Y para el resfrío sí tengo. Pero aquí tengo supuestamente a la vuelta. Por ahí a mitad de cuadra hay un refugio. Allá arriba.
I cannot enter.
Joda. Entonces por dónde entro. Faltan 2 de Joe. Ok, acá hay otra. Buenas noches, señora.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling.
Una
But I'd like to
prostituta,
ask you a
weón.
few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when
Okay.
I open my mouth.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Could this be the scarf you lost, Miss Popper?
It is much more than a scarf to me. It is the only thing that connects me to my family and my country. Thank you so much.
Joda, ¿cómo que la pista falló? ¿Por qué? Pues si le di una Clayton Derby. Joda, pero si le di una puta bufanda.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital?
Vení, ahora guarda. Joder, sí. Hola, Prosti. Joda, marica, la cagué.
Good evening, Christina.
Change.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Christina, have you been examined?
I don't like doctors.
Esto ya me ha preguntado.
Can
If it...
you
And
tell me about yourself?
are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
Ok.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly, but it is not your concern, Doctor.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
Ok. Por acá hay otro desconocido. Ah, ni, esta está enferma. ¿Tengo más para la fatiga? No, se me acabaron. ¿Dónde hay otro refugio? Bueno, si sigo
You look
derecho.
so pale, my lord. Would you like me to...
Para la fatiga y la migraña necesito. Por acá. Que me falta ergotonina y opio. Ok. $105, lo mismo que el otro, ¿no? Ah, no, un poquito más, pero este tiene velocidad 15 y 20. $116, te pega más. Pues sí es más lento.
Good evening, Christina.
Change your mind?
Do you need any assistance, Miss Potter?
It depends on the price of your medicine.
He's free.
I am shocked that you would think I am that sort of man.
Forgive my suspicion. I'm so used to liars with good manners. Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, miss.
Puchanita 4, esa loca.
Take care of yourself.
Antes debería ser la más fácil porque pues, prostituta, no sé, llevársela por ahí del cuarto y venga. Métele el
Forgive
chupi
my
chupi.
interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist?
LOL.
You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Re perdido, padre. Porque, como le digo, soy chupi chupi. Y detrás de eso.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital?
Y detrás de eso.
I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Lo elige el padre.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
LOL.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition.
Ah.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
LOL.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous.
Lol,
You're nothing but
se
a
prendió esta
soulless
vuelta.
butcher. A small-time Torquemada.
Torquema de pacotilla.
Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool.
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Padre basado,
What
weón.
do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you?
Pues ya me lo había dicho.
Well,
As a
what do you...
the bee.
I have heard enough. Goodbye. Good
Se enojó.
evening, Misty.
It's far.
Es padre.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil
man está muerto,
grows
papi.
night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
No, papi, lo mandó a la muerte. Al cementerio. Esa mierda está llena de
I have heard enough for
vampiritos.
tonight. Goodbye.
Esto es culo de iglesia, una escala ahí. A ver qué tal esto. Uy, marica, hace poco. Le hago el chupi chupi porque... Joda. Joda. Es lento esta vuelta. Un golpe más. Joda. Venga, pégale. Prim. Prim. Venga. Joder. voy para acá y luego se cruzo para allá. ¿Ese es un tipo? Ah, sí. ¿Quién es ese man? ¿Samuel?
Oh, Camellia, the silent flower of...
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
Bueno, un momento, por favor. Todavía se me recarga. Esperen, un momentico, la hacemos por acá. Porque está poniendo problema él. Me pidieron un favorcito. Entonces denme un momento. Ahora sí. Richard Nittercott. Tiene un resfrío. Venga, lo
Do you
curo,
need
papi.
medical attention, sir?
It may be wise to let you prescribe me something. I don't feel like I should.
I understand your appetite for words and macabre beauty, sir. But you should be more careful.
The nutrition of my mind is more important than my physical health. But I appreciate your concern, sir.
Are you aware that you'll...
But this is
So
where
now-
I must...
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear doctor.
LOL.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk.
Cementerio.
Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
¿Verdad?
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful
Cacophonic.
silence.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir, Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Ok, eso es muda.
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles, and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox, the stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
¿Cuál será Camelia? Cristina. Acá hay otro tipo. Y Camelia. Vela ahí. Psychopan Publishing Ltd. Lavender Court, Camden Street, Londres. Estimado señor Nethercott, gracias por enviar su libro de poemas Canción de la Ciudad Derrotada, que encontramos interesante y profundo, como leímos la primera vez que lo recibimos. Sin embargo, en los tiempos difíciles que enfrenta nuestro país, debe comprender que ese título sería totalmente inapropiado para cualquier publicación. Por lo tanto, y como usted se niega a cambiar el título y demanda la publicación completa de su trabajo o nada, lamento anunciar que Psychopath Publishing optó por lo segundo. Atentamente, H. Morris.
Good evening.
And good evening.
You don't really make a living from your scribblings, do you, Richard?
No, sir, I don't. I work so hard. I put all my time, my energy, my devotion into the precise carving of words.
Still, you don't seem to suffer from poverty.
With thanks to my parents, actually. I'm afraid I would not be able to live on my own without their help.
You seem embarrassed.
Someday I hope to proudly offer my first publication to my parents. Until that day, I'll remain the failure of a son they have to support.
Joda.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Hijo fracasado que deben mantener. I leave you alone, sir. ¿Qué se me hizo Camelia? ¿Y la muda? A ver, la ve.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
La pobre es muda, güey.
I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Tell me about Richard Nethercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia. Very well. Goodbye then.
Gracias por la
Hello again.
profunda y emocionante charla.
I know. Tell.
La mejor charla
Very
que
well.
hemos tenido en todo el juego.
Goodbye then.
¿Qué es esto? ¿Quién me falta en este distrito? Todavía me faltan 2 pelagatos. 2 pelagatos, uno para curar el disfrío y otro maricón ahí. Me lo ve. ¿Este quién es?
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
Ok.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Farewell. Creo que para la fatiga no tengo más. Ah, sí, sí tengo uno. Venga.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught during my investigation.
If you persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Todos están recuperando. Me falta nomás resfrío y migraña, pero no he podido. Ah, bueno, que necesito por la migraña. No dice. Ah, creo que me falta el... ¿Qué? Samuel, ¿no? Un momento. A ver si puedo entrar por atrás. Es que tiene que haber una entrada para este.
Is no match for the Swanborough cordial.
It's locked.
Puta, es que es bloqueada, loco. Es que tiene que haber otra entrada. A ver, migraña y resfriado. Todavía me falta algo decente. Migraña, resfriado. Esta no sé qué tiene. Por el momento migraña y resfriado. Bueno, para esta de la migraña necesito... Ah, ya la puedo hacer. Bien. Creo que también puedo llegar. Joder, nivel 16, loco.
Not a good place for a stroll. Filthy piece of shit!
Otra manotazo y murió. Joder. Joda. Joda. Ven para acá, autofalla. Fuck. Puta, hace rato no me mataban, loco. Joder, loco. ¿Y reaparecen todos? No. Ay, joda, sí, todos los que ya había eliminado volvieron a aparecer.
It's an inch! See them fancy clothes? This one's a top! Grenade! Filthy piece of shit!
Joda por atrás. Joda. Téngalo. Ahora sí, vamos contra la bestiota. Más. Uf. Joder. Tampoco es que se cure mucho. ¡Oh! Golpe. Me morí. ¡Chupalo! Una cosa de locos. esto? No hay ni chimba aquí. Joder, otro acá. Joda. Pero pegale. No le está pegando, loco. Uf. Clorito de sodio. De verdad que salir de noche está peligroso. Ah, bueno, acá vengo yo. ¿De dónde vengo? De aquí es donde vengo, ¿no? Sí. Pucha, ahí hay dos.
Better go home, sir.
Joda, 16, loco.
Don't come any fucking closer.
¿Qué pasa? Joder, ese no era. Uy, marica, casi me mata, weón. Tengo que subir la autofagia. Está curándome muy poquito. Joder, acá hay un man, weón.
Good evening, sir. It's me again.
Leave me alone, I say, whoever you are.
All right.
Joder, la cagué. Bote sangre ahí. ¡No! ¡Fue puto! No me alcancé a curar. Joder. Joda, loco, desde acá.
Steady, boys!
Ya que por allá no tengo nada que hacer.
It's one of them! Pin him down!
Joda.
I'll kill you!
Puta, un golpe más. Oh. No, ya para allá no me vuelvo a meter las guamas, a no ser que sea estrictamente necesario. Sangre socio, loco. Joder. Joder, ahí, güey. Allá hay otro. Otros dos. Contra los dos sí puedo. 3. Contra 3 y ya no. A no ser de que les dé un escopetazo. Listo, manotazo y manotazo. El de allá ni se enteró. O sea que bien. Ahorita fue asqueroso. Bien por ahí. Por acá me pareció ver otro. Nivel 15. Fin. Chupi chupi. Unos 2 golpes más. Joder. Tun, tun. Recupero algo. Manotazo, golpe, chao. ¡Joder, hay 2! Marica, culo de golpe que me metió esa hijo de puta. Se me metió culo de golpe. De por acá es que vengo, ¿no? Joda, otro allí. Otros 2. De verdad que esta mierda está llena. ¡Pin! Manotazo. Joda. A ver. Prin. Manotazo. Tin. Chupi chupi. Golpe más. Escuché una rata por ahí. Gacanito. Y el Samuel no lo encuentro.
Carnage. Is Father Whitaker's disciple among the bodies, I wonder? This man's far too old to be Samuel. No. By the look of his clothes, this man's a docker. It's locked. Samuel isn't here. I had better follow the blood trail.
Joder, ¿cuántos hay ahí?
As I feared, Samuel no longer preaches the good word.
Adiós. Recuperar sangre. Eso. Manotazo y para atrás. Ok, no le hace daño. ¡Ah, ese Samuel! Joder. 12 de octubre. El padre Wintaker es una persona tan honrada y con tanta pasión y amor por quienes sufren. Sus palabras son todo lo que en esta ciudad necesita. Esta noche le haré todo lo que tengo, mi fortaleza, mi fe, mi riqueza. Y si no es suficiente, sé dónde puedo encontrar más. 17 de octubre. El padre Whittaker y yo fuimos a la casa abandonada cerca de la iglesia de St. Mary. El lugar es horrible y en un segundo las ratas peleaban por las habitaciones. Sí, junto con los últimos residentes de los decrépitos departamentos. La mayoría de ellos están enfermos. Había unos olores espantosos. En el último piso el padre Whittaker encontró a un anciano acostado en el colchón sucio que tosía y escupía sangre en un tarro de madera. El padre Whittaker se rió ante él y oró un largo rato. El hombre pareció sentirse mejor. Luego los dos lo llamó a encontrar la luz. Lloré en ese momento y lloro ahora mientras escribo estas líneas, ya que jamás había visto un alma tan aliviada y finalmente encontré la redención. El padre Whittaker es un santo. Si no suena presuntuoso y no es una expresión pecadora de orgullo, me gustaría poder salvar tantas almas como él. Es un verdadero privilegio presenciar tales milagros. 19 de octubre. Esta noche los dos fuimos a prostíbulos que bordean el canal. Debo admitir que tenía mucho miedo de cruzarme en el camino de Jezabeles, pero hace mucho que los edificios están abandonados. Las prostitutas y las infecciones van de lo malo, explicó el padre Whittaker, pero sus clientes se asustan rápidamente cuando se menciona la enfermedad. En el último burdel encontramos dos mujeres enfermas que dormían junto a una actitud pecadora bajo las sábanas sucias. El olor era una vez más espantoso. El hedor de Satanás y la enfermedad, explicó el padre Whittaker antes de arrodillarse y rezar por esas dos almas perdidas. Las mujeres estaban tan enfermas y frágiles que no pudieron moverse cuando tiré combustible sobre las sábanas. LOL, ahora sus almas están limpias y puras. Las quemaron, loco. 21 de octubre. El padre Whittaker es un santo. No dejaré que nadie se burle de su sagrado ser. Recibirá más ayuda y apoyo, pero está solo igual que todos los profetas. Necesita más de sus seguidores. Necesita amor y pruebas de ese amor. Mañana volverá al cementerio y desenterraré más tesoros para él. Los muertos no tienen necesidad de contar con bienes terrenales para el viernes tenelares, pero el padre Whittaker y yo tenemos que comer. 27 de octubre. Esta noche, por primera vez, fue mi turno al frente de la ronda. Decidí regresar al lugar donde fui hace 10 días para ver si alguna otra alma necesitaba liberarse. El padre Whittaker autorizó mi elección, ya que el trabajo del Señor nunca está completo y Satanás nunca duerme, según explicó. También dijo que si sigo demostrando tanto celo, pronto puede darme más misiones y tareas importantes. No puedo esperar. Esta noche liberé 3 almas más de la corrupción. Si no suena presuntuoso y no es una expresión pecadora de orgullo, me atrevo a decir que estamos en el camino hacia la grandeza. O sea, están matando gente en nombre del Señor. Todavía se ha matado a varias personas enfermas en su cruzada por limpiar la ciudad. Están desenterrando los cuerpos.
I have this thirst for blood.
Bueno, el asesino.
For there is no protection against.
Good evening, Mr. Whitaker.
It's Father Whitaker, my son. So, are you still lost in your rational delusions?
Señor.
I have found Samuel, your disciple. I am afraid I have bad news.
I already expected the worst. He should already have come back. He is dead, isn't he?
Yes, he is now. The epidemic took him.
Samuel steadily made donations to our cause. He would have rewarded you himself if you'd found me in that awful cemetery. Please accept this money.
Your disciple, Samuel, stole from the dead in Stonebridge Cemetery. I have proof of his crime and proof of his death.
No! Samuel was the best of us. So devoted, so zealous. He gave all he had for the cause. He tirelessly preached the good word.
He defiled the dead with his petty thefts. That's how he financed your misguided crusade.
Think what you will. When this city is saved, he will be praised for his devoted fortitude. He walked boldly into the mouth of abomination.
Your precious Samuel used you. He was an immoral crook.
If that's true, then he will be my burden to bear during this endless night.
Why did you send Samuel to the cemetery, Tobias? What did you see there?
I sent him on a vision. A dream of a dreadful and laughing queen covered with blood, sleeping with the dead and feeding on the fear of the dying.
A laughing queen dressed in blood. Tell me more.
This epidemic is her feast, the announcement of her return. Against her, science is no more than a child's toy.
But who is she?
She is the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth. She is Babylon, drunk on the blood of the saints.
Why?
I said...
You sent a man to die because of a stupid vision. I have heard enough of your nonsense. Goodbye. Good evening. Tobias Whitaker, confess why you burnt those people alive.
I have done what no one was ready to do. I will smite the flesh of the unclean to protect the righteous.
You are just another heartless murderer, exploiting the epidemic to kill with impunity.
No! No. The only way to contain the spread is to strike at the source itself. The proliferating sick.
You're not the savior of London. You're just a glorified sadist.
I take no pleasure in this awful cleansing, Dr. Reed. I am only driven by the thousands of innocents I save each night.
Ok. 5.000 de experiencia de este tipo.
I have heard enough for today.
Goodbye. Claro, que como me morí, acá mínimo afuera tienen que estar estos tipos. Epa, preciso.
He's mine! I'll take it!
More and more of these bloody leeches every night.
Joder, ¿dónde salió el otro?
It's too strong!
Asqueroso.
It's closed. Over there! There's one of them birds!
Ey, este par ni se dieron cuenta
Please open the door, sir.
que las maté el compañero.
Die! Filthy piece of... Let's see how it likes a bit of
Thank you. Joder, allá hay más otra vez. Y estos... Ah, bueno, no solo. ¿Qué pasa con el juego por sorpresa? Joda, uno grandote. Joda, fallé el coso. No, tengo que matar a este. Ahora sí, quedo con este solo. Dos golpes y sale. Bien. ¿Qué es lo que suena por allá? Hay unos gritos. Ay, verdad que necesito ir acá.
See them fancy clothes? This one's a top. Watch out for the teeth. I'll kill it. You're mine. Filthy fucking beast.
Ush, qué combazo le metí, papá. No me aguantaste nada. Asqueroso. Allá sí no voy a ir, que no tengo, la verdad no tengo necesidad. Pero acá sí, porque lo va a curar el resfriado a Cadogan. A ver si me dice una otra cosita. Joder, ¿y Cadogan? Este asqueroso.
You had better return to White.
Safety isn't really an issue in White.
You have
Safe.
¿Cómo hago para que se vaya este man? Ah, tal vez si lo...
You had better return to Whitechapel without delay. It will be safer there.
Safety isn't really an issue in Whitechapel, because you never are. Never have been. The old place is falling to pieces. But thank you for the advice, sir.
¿Listo? ¿Ya recapacitó?
You had better return to what?
Safety isn't.
Joder, no era así. que me da vaina de que si lo dejo acá se lo vayan a comer. Es que acá hay dos, loco. Buenas noches, caballeros. Toqué a volarle machete para que mueran. Estás mirando, hombre, oh. ¿Este tiene misión o algo? Con investigaciones voy bien. Uy, pale. Ok. Puedo entrar y salir de una por ahí.
Goody. I'd like...
Why?
¿Cuánto vende de escopetas este man? 315, la chimba.
Another night with the glory.
Good evening.
Goody.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant blood.
I have made inquiries about the men who were tracking you, Miss Howcroft.
I did not expect a mortal to have this sort of courage. Speak, Doctor. Why are they hunting me down?
It was a misunderstanding. These hunters were in fact looking for a very different creature, but they mistakenly put their sights on you.
I knew it. I have become undone. Those hunters have discovered me, but they don't know what I'm capable of.
If you'll accept some advice from a petty mortal, I think you should assume a low profile and just quietly disappear into the shadows.
You are right. And you have served me well, mortal. Take this as a reward for your time. Perhaps I will allow you to drink deep of my blood. One day.
Thank you. I'll
tomaré
keep
como un
that
cumplido.
proposition in mind. I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I have wasted too much energy for so little result.
Está zángana.
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
What can you tell me about the epidemic?
Everyday folk don't...
News on the front states...
It seemed to be for...
What can you tell me?
This hospital was...
Can you be...
Well...
For how long?
I first...
And before...
If you must...
Well, Doctor...
Not in an...
What?
Doctor...
How...
Pero no me dice personales o algo. Ah, aquí. Ah, no, tampoco.
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
Pues que no entiendo es por qué pregunta tanto por Crane este man. Me falta una pista. La fila es en la de Whitechapel. ¿Desconocido? ¿Quién es allá? ¿Este quién es? No me deja hablarle.
I cannot enter.
I wish I could be sick again. Feel my blood boil with the fever.
A ver.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
There is an absurd poetry to my situation. Physician, heal thyself.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this relationship.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
Oh, to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
Okay.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings in the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
Subespecie vampiro.
How do Skulls come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skull?
Raciocinio, no?
A Skull is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar.
Estimado doctor, su hacía. Tendré el agrado de encargarme de la morgue temporal tan pronto como se abre. Como ya le dije, fui médico en la guerra. Estoy contento por servir nuevamente a mi país. Sé que no es lo mismo ser un médico para los muertos que hacerlo para los vivos, pero creo que también es importante dar la bienvenida y cuidar bien de los que han partido. Tengo la tranquilidad de que haré lo mejor posible para realizar esta nueva tarea. En referencia a la pregunta sobre mis calificaciones, lamento no poder ofrecerle nada más valioso que mi palabra. Le juro que mi regimiento me convirtió en médico durante la guerra y eso me permitió salvar muchas vidas. Si mi palabra no es suficiente, puede contactarse con la administración militar para verificar mi experiencia y mis capacidades. Confirmarán que aunque nunca haya cursado estudios médicos, la guerra me enseñó lo que un médico realmente necesita saber. Hospital de Pembroke. Estimado doctor, debo transmitir mis profundas reservas sobre el doctor Toreo Strickland y el caso de Harvey Finn. El señor Finn fue internado después de una lesión laboral grave. Puede perder de manera permanente la función de su brazo si no recibe el tratamiento adecuado. El doctor Strickland afirma que un procedimiento quirúrgico puede salvar completamente el brazo. En mi opinión, también puede anular sus funciones para siempre y surgen complicaciones. Nuestro joven colega es un cirujano audaz y atrevido que puede terminar siendo un gran profesional en algunos años, pero por ahora carece de capacidad para encargarse de un procedimiento riesgoso. Debo recordarle los errores que cometió en el pasado. Como el doctor Strickland se niega a escucharme, le recomiendo con especial énfasis que le prohíba llevar a cabo este peligroso experimento.
It's locked, all right.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Have you heard of someone blackmailing people in the hospital?
Pardon me, sir, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh.
The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reed. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused.
Yes, sir. I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could.
It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana.
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reed. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now.
Are you afraid?
What?
How? Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
Tomorrow, more bodies will arrive and then sadly depart.
Es que ¿dónde lo puedo ver? Es la pregunta. Ah, ok, por acá. Por acá o por acá.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed. Can I be of any help?
Have you heard any talk of blackmail going on in the hospital?
If you're running some official inquiry, you had better question the patients. They know more than the staff, especially old Miss Jones.
Tell me, Thoreau, what's the real cause of your dislike for Dr. Ackroyd?
He refuses to admit that your blood transfusion technique is the only way to save Mr. Fiddick. I'm convinced we must use it.
What Dr. Ackroyd really said is that you lack the skill to perform this operation efficiently. Is there anything you have to say about this?
It's a false conceit. Dr. Ackroyd secretly envies your reputation. His jealousy blinds him. I'm not the real target here.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later. Good evening.
Good evening.
Ah, pues está la que lo está
Goodbye,
haciendo.
Nurse Hawkins.
You don't mind if I search your pockets, do you, sir? You won't need any of these anyway. I'm not stealing from you, mister. I'm only redistributing your belongings to people who need them more than you. You see, no one has claimed your body, sir, so it would be such a shame to bury you with your valuables. I will not forget you, sir, and I thank you for your generous donation.
No, pero estas maricas son más... Son más, ¿cómo llaman? Más corruptos.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
How dare you steal from the dead, Rakesh? Is that what your pawnbrokers is really about?
These people are dead, sir. What they possessed could be useful for the living. And I'm sure they would agree if they could speak.
Whatever your motives, you're making money by stealing from the dead. Dr. Swansea should be informed.
No offense, sir, but Dr. Swansea is one of my customers. As I told you, I like to help people, and everybody needs help from time to time.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
También hay que pelarlo.
Don't waste your time with me.
You all...
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Any news about my operation?
Have you heard talk of any blackmail here at the hospital?
No. Nothing.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later. Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Have you heard rumors about blackmail in this hospital?
No.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Have you heard rumors of blackmail going on in this hospital?
Dr. Reed, are you trying to take advantage of me?
Of course not, Mrs. Goswick. I'm just curious.
Well, go be curious somewhere else, please.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
will not let you down, my boy.
Dr. Reed.
I'll see you later. Good
I
evening.
need blood, Doctor. Warm.
Have you heard of any blackmailing going on within these walls?
I have no time for mortal games. My secrets are beyond their comprehension, Dr. Reed.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities. Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard rumors of underhand dealings in the hospital?
If you want to know what's going on here, you better talk to Miss Jones. She knows everything. Especially what she shouldn't.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Damn. The pain. Hello again, Dr. Reed. I feel better already. Can I go soon?
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Esto no tiene.
We'll talk again later.
¿Cuál es Jones?
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening,
Goodbye, Nurse. Call me if you need assistance. Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
I have no time for such...
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough. Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet Lady of Mercy.
¿Es la vampira?
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure
Ay,
to see you
hijueputa,
again.
sí.
You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a vamp... The lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Lol.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
¿Cuál es esa? Ah, ahorita se va a poder entrar allá.
Disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Ok, pero entonces vamos a dejarlo por acá. Y mañana seguimos. Gracias por acompañarme en esta vuelta. Ay, pues pucha, el cablecito. En esta vuelta, pero entonces nos vemos mañana. Se me cuidan.